Welcome to today's episode of the Charity Ace podcast. I'm excited to be sitting down with Jeff Crockett, who runs our sales operation and really has helped us as Charity Ace revolutionize the market and come to consignment planning and consignment giving in a very different way. So excited to talk to Jeff today and learn more about fundraising strategies that we're seeing in the market.
Absolutely. Very excited to be here, Justin. And thanks so much for having me on.
So tell me, what is consignment? When you talk to a charity that's never used Charity Ace as a fundraising solution, where do we start that conversation?
So consignment's really bringing in the travel packages that are available out in the market in a no risk fashion, where I think charities can find a lot of benefit through consignment by knowing that there are solutions at their fingertips at all times. And so that's not just fundraising, at an event. That's fundraising year round and being able to take advantage of consignment to really power a lot of fundraising opportunities that are out there.
You talk about consignment and you said really a risk-free. Mm-hmm. When I think about consignment, it means something's on the shelf ready to be bought, and then the supplier will be paid once it's purchased. So that really is, it's on the provider, in this instance, Charity Ace, to take the risk and have the item there for sale. But it's the impact of the nonprofit to go sell it. And they might sell it for 3 times what the consignment price is. That's what they're trying to raise money with. Am I understanding that right?
Absolutely. That's definitely the goal. So we want charities to be able to raise 250% the cost of a package for their mission.
And how do they sell it? When I think about my experience in nonprofit fundraising, I see the rooms with the dinners. Some people will call them gala. Is that the only way to sell these kind of packages?
That's definitely not the only way. I think there is a lot to be said for that way of fundraising. You're creating competition in the room, and you're creating interest in a package that could be listed in some opportunities as priceless. I think that's really why travel does so well at charity events, is that you're selling an experience, not just an item or something that, has a shelf value. You're selling an opportunity for people to go travel with their family and create memories. And so I think that's where travel really comes in as one of the biggest producers for charities at events. But no, it's definitely not the only way to sell the experiences. We see a lot of opportunities in raffles year round, whether it's a golden ticket raffle or just a general raffle that's done online. We often see it done through sweepstakes and giveaways as well, to just inspire donors to come to their cause and have an interest in their cause and learn more about what they do. But there's a lot of ways that you can definitely sell travel experiences.
You mentioned the range of return that you're really looking at, 100% to 250%. Mm-hmm. How do you see a charity making a 250% return on an item like this?
There's a few ways. So one is the competition that I mentioned, that, having people in the room who are interested in that experience, they want to take that experience. And a lot of times when donors are coming to fundraising events, they have an idea of what they want to give to that charity ahead of time. And so for some of our higher value packages, having an idea of what they want to give, sometimes a donor would be willing to pay 300%, 400%, 500% the actual cost of that package, but they're getting something small in return for a donation that they already want to give. So in a lot of instances when that happens, we see charities line packages up with their top donors before the event to make sure that their donors are getting something that they want, something that they're interested in, maybe a destination they're already going to travel to, but now they can source that travel through the charity. So in some instances, there's already some kind of predetermined fundraising that's going to happen. But in a lot of other instances, especially with packages that maybe are closer to $2,500, $3,500, you create competition in the room. And when you have a large gala with 400 people in the room, people want to be seen. They want to be seen giving. And so that's where you create the really fun competition. The auctioneers are able to get those bids up a lot higher.
And I'm glad you mentioned the auctioneers, because it can really change the environment, change the vibe of the room when the live auction comes out and it falls flat. Whereas our auctioneer partners, we work with them from a Charity Ace standpoint to make sure they can come in there with exciting pictures, with exciting presentation, and then they understand what they're there for. And that's ultimately impact. We have some great referral partners in our auctioneer network. Can you talk about what makes an auctioneer successful in this space?
With our auctioneer partners, I would say it's really confidence in owning the momentum and excitement in the room. Our auctioneers, a large majority of them, they bring a level of excitement themselves on stage that then translates into the donors who are bidding on these items. So it's about really understanding how to work every inch of the room and not focus on the one or two tables that are right in front of you. And our best auctioneers are those that can work the entire room. They're able to really get excited on stage. They draw the attention in on stage, and they know how to sell packages.
Yeah.
I mean, these are auctioneers who have a history of 10 years selling millions of dollars worth of packages. And those auctioneers are really able to get everyone excited. They get people standing up out of their chairs trying to get those last minute bids on items. But a lot of times, some of our best auctioneers, they know when to pivot to additional strategies, like selling multiples. If you have a number of families, number of really high donors that are bidding on a package, let's say at $25,000, and you see 2 or 3 of those bidders drop off, our best auctioneers are those that know how to then pivot and say, I've actually got 3 of this package that I can sell. What if we bring that back down to that $24,000 mark where I saw all 3 of you were interested? Let's sell 3 packages. Now you're exponentiating your return for a charity right there.
Yeah. And that's ultimately the impact. How do you go and create a 500% impact on a charity's investment? And when the investment's risk-free, how do you go back and explain that to somebody? It sounds too good to be true. No money down, you can raise 500x of whatever number you want to do. Am I wrong in thinking that that's just the reality of what we're looking at, or is there more to it?
No, I think that is the reality of what we're looking at. And we're able to do that by working with a lot of charities. By working with over 1,000 charities a year, we're able to create those experiences that are truly risk-free. And we have some amazing owners of so many of these properties that are willing to give their properties time to charities. These are people that could go put their properties on Airbnb and VRBO, but they're not choosing to do that. They want to have impact with charities. So they're offering their properties at a lot lower, in almost every case, a lot lower than the fair market value of what that stay would be, so a charity can get a return. And by having all these packages really pre-made, we're able to do a lot more with those packages, like include the cenote tour in Mexico, include the Segway tour in Europe. We're able to add on a lot more than just a stay at a villa or a stay at a resort.
Make it a full experience.
Absolutely.
And so when we do that, and Charity Ace has a fun DNA, and in future episodes, we're really going to talk about why Charity Ace exists. But a big component of that is Ace Assured, and ensuring that when you buy a package in donation like this, in the effort of helping a charity, that you get that experience and the charity has a donor that returns the following year. How do we make sure that Ace Assured, we're not just selling anything out here? What does it mean to be in our portfolio of products?
Part of being Ace Assured, really, I mean, I think that is really the bread and butter of Charity Ace. It's that we're not just, one provider with our exclusive experiences. We're essentially a team of 17, 18 providers. But not only that, we are an exclusive provider ourselves. So we're not only the one-stop shop, we're the easiest and the most trustworthy solution that's out there. Part of being Ace Assured is knowing that we have a team here that have checked every single package with every provider. We have a guarantee that those details of, are you really beachfront or are you a 5-minute walk from the beach?
Right.
Is there going to be, when you go to a resort in Mexico and you've got to sit through a timeshare, we don't want those packages on our
It just doesn't exist in our portfolio.
Right. But being able to work with 17 providers means when we find out about a package that does have an issue, we pull that package.
Yeah.
And we don't stop there. We contact all the charities that may already be interested in that package, and we'll let them know. We had an issue with this package, but we have a portfolio of 17 providers. We have 10 more great solutions we can plug in for you. So we're going to be able to vet all of those packages and make sure we remove any that are going to cause problems down the line.
So as we look at Charity Ace and the impact that Charity Ace can have, what do I think about? If I'm a development director at a chapter in somewhere in the U.S., what makes me pick up the phone and call Charity Ace? Why do I think, I don't have the inventory. I don't have the event really planned out. Why would I call Charity Ace, and where does that take action? And when should I? Is this a week before the event? Is it a month before the event? When do you see charities reaching out?
I think the answer to that question isn't even something we've talked about yet.
Yeah.
I think the why do you call Charity Ace is because we can consult with you on not just how to fundraise through a couple packages at your event, but we can consult with you on how to fundraise with packages year round.
Yeah.
So I think the why do you call Charity Ace, it starts with Charity Ace Assured. We have packages that you can trust. We know that there have been a history in this industry of packages you can't trust, some providers that have made some waves.
Yep.
So it starts with Charity Ace Assured. But then it goes into how do we consult with you on not only which packages you're putting in your auction, but what other ideas are out there to help you fundraise that you haven't even thought of yet? How do we revolutionize your fundraising? How do we help you engage more donors at different age levels to help further your mission year round?
The innovation of constant fundraising. And we talk about it as fundraisers. We know that we're always fundraising. But in this moment, I'm reminded that fundraising with intentionality is looking at every day, every season of the year and saying, how are we bringing our audience, our donors together to make an impact?
Absolutely. And it definitely starts with those big events. That's where a lot of charities raise the most money in their year.
Yeah.
If you have a charity that is trying to raise $1 million in the year, it's not rare that they're going to raise $300,000-400,000 of that at that event. But that's where Charity Ace won't stop. We'll contact you after your event. We'll say, what's next? What are we doing next month that we need to help you get started?
Well, give me the example. I know that you're working with project graduations. You're working with volunteer fire departments. You're working with some small nonprofits that are not going to have a gala. They're not going to have a live auction. We've mentioned raffle as maybe a strategy, but can Charity Ace help those smaller, early stage nonprofits just like the large national ones?
Absolutely. And well, that starts probably with price point.
Yeah.
Having price points across the board, packages anywhere from $900 to $100,000 custom packages, like a custom Lord of the Rings package we just built in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So that starts with having options that are available for all sizes of charities. But when you're looking at the different opportunities to fundraise, a lot of those smaller nonprofits can do virtual fundraising. They can do online auctions that aren't associated with an event. Not only just auction style, but you can do buy it now travel for your donors year round. If we're looking at, a group of donors who want to go travel to Mexico in the summer, they source those packages through Charity Ace, which are typically 25 to 35% below fair market value already. We're able to create margin for charities in that year-round travel for their donors. So that's a big opportunity where there isn't an event, but there's always an opportunity.
The culture of constant impact, it's an important thing. And Jeff, I appreciate you spending time with us today and helping me understand different ways that charities are using consignment and different ways that in today's market, charities are looking for new ways to raise. And I know that with confidence, they can come to Charity Ace and get some great consulting, some great trends and direction and ideas, but ultimately they have a risk-free way to go out and excite their donors to take action and create impact. And that's incredible work that you get to do every day.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate the time.
Well, thank you for spending the time with us today. We look forward to many more of these and sharing our standards. On the Charity Ace Show, we are going to continue to talk about impact and how we make an impact in your market at the charity of your choice today. And if that's something that you're trying to solve for, please reach out to the Charity Ace team. You can find us at CharityAce.com on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and look for us at your next nonprofit event. If you're going to an event this weekend or over the next 6 months, be on the lookout and say, is that a Charity Ace package? Is my nonprofit working with Charity Ace? Am I confident that if I make this donation and buy this trip, that it's going to make an impact on my charity? And if you're doing those things, if you're asking those questions, you're going to help us in our mission to create a big impact in charities across the country. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next week.